Hello and welcome to Rebecca Assimilates. So we are talking about first drafts and how it's really important that when we're working through our novel and where we think all of the scenes in our first draft should go in the order that they go, and obviously we're beating ourselves up about the fact that we don't know each and every scene yet, and that's fine. It's really important to be fluid with your scenes. You know which scenes have got to go in there, you know, the important ones, the ones that you know have to happen in your novel, and the other ones in between will build over time and they'll reveal themselves when they need to. But with your main scenes, you're going to want to write them down. For me, there is a way of writing them down which allows the scenes to be more fluid. It allows you to work with your first draft and move it around while actually looking at it. And it's just an easier way to do it. So I'm just going to share with you what I have done. Okay, so I'm going to take a A4 piece of paper, a few of these, quite a few, depending on how long your novel is, and let's just fold it in half and fold it in half one more time. Basically, we are writing down our scenes. So the very first scene, the opening scene, hopefully that's something that you kind of know a bit about, or you've worked it out. If not, you could just do a question mark, but mine is my MC, my main character's house. It opens with them in the house, and there's a bit of a family meal happening, and I think this is really important to kind of show why the story in the novel happens, why it so easily happens, why they make the choices that they make at the beginning. It shows their background and their family and upbringing. Upbringing is so important to what shapes our mind. Next scene, I'm thinking there'll be, the end of the first scene, you might want to kind of write down MC's house and then do an arrow to town bell. I know there's a bell goes off. It only goes off when there's a bit of an emergency. If it's not a scheduled event in their village, then the town hall bell means, oh, get to the town hall quickly, something's happening. So that's the end of the family meal. It is completely interrupted, but probably for the best. And so there's going to be then a walk to town hall. There's also, the next thing is going to be the town meeting. And this is where the catalyst for the story kind of happens in the town meeting. It's where things are discovered and revealed and we're like, oh, something's got to happen now. Is it going to happen? Yes, it is. And then also, I guess, the next bit would be the night before, because a journey is going to happen for the main character that they discovered they need to do in the meeting. You're going to do this with every single bit of your novel, with every scene that you know. It doesn't matter if you know there's probably going to be scenes in between them. Don't worry about that for now. As I say, this is a way of doing it to make it flexible and make you be able to move these scenes around. So just write down what you know definitely is probably going to happen. Colour coding. I have a bit of a key here. Oh, yeah. So remember that when you do this, no one else is hopefully going to see it. So we're not going to worry about how we spell things and how neatly we write. So basically, I decided that for blue, I will colour code the bits that are scenes that are happening that are development scenes in blue. I used to call these buffer scenes. It's a horrible thing to say. They're a really good way of like getting a really beautiful bit of description in, but you don't want it to happen in other parts of the story when there's action or when there's character development. So the setting and places and views and things like that, development. This is when you want the blue things to happen. Yellow is character progress. So when, through everything, the characters are going to progress, everything that happens to them, but the yellow is when it really is character progression, and when the reader is seeing this and then understanding a little bit more about the character and getting to know them, because we want our readers to really understand the characters and get to know them, so that when things happen to them in the story, the readers really feel it and it's worth it. Otherwise, they're not going to be too fussed. Red is action. So my favourite bit is the red bit. I like the red bit. I'm not very good at writing the sort of the bit more developmental bits. I kind of need a bit more practice at this, but the action bits are my favourite bits, especially when I read a book. I'm like, yes, I like things to happen, and I like writing YA fiction, which is for young adults, so teenagers, and there's a lot of red in that. It's very important. And my purple doesn't happen too much, and it's kind of like, what have I written? Oh, sexy bits of the novel. So they're purple. I don't know, it's quite important for teenagers. There's a lot of hormones flying around. They're going to be like fancying each other and thinking about things. It's all about chemistry, isn't it? And so this is important, especially what I find for me when I read a book, and I think it's important to write what we think we would like to read, because hopefully there'll be other people like us out there. So it's kind of like, obviously there's a lot more elements that make up a novel than these 4 basic boxes that I've put things in, but we've got to start somewhere, haven't we? So basically I'm going to use my yellow character development, the character progress. So I'm thinking, so the main character's house at the beginning, oh yes, so we're meeting the main character and we're meeting their family and we're understanding them a bit more. So this is definitely yellow. The night before they depart on the journey they realise they've got to depart on in the town meeting when all is revealed. There'll be a lot of character development there because they're going to be there with the person they live with, the character they live with, their father, and it's going to be very sentimental, and there's going to be anxiety about the journey. But it's just a great little moment to reveal characters as well. So that's yellow, the beginning's yellow. Walking to the town hall should really be blue because you're seeing the setting for the first time, and the main character's setting is really important, even though they're not actually there for very long. Obviously in the book we don't see them there for very long, but they have been there their whole life. It's really important for them. So everything in that has shaped who they are, as well as obviously their family who you get to know. But settings wise, this is very important. We're going to see a lot on this walk to the town hall. The town meeting, it's a developmental part of the story. It's also, there's a bit of action. Not much action really, but at least there is a bit of action. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take our bit of paper, and where we've done our nice lines, and we hopefully wrote within the lines-ish, we are going to rip them. So our scenes are now free of all the other scenes. They're still scenes in their own right, but this way we can move them around, and that's what we want to do. Also, as I said, hopefully you've written it all out. You've got all of your scenes. I wrote mine out earlier because it just seemed like the right thing to do. It could have taken a while. I'm going to start at the top. I will give you a close-up of, after a while. So I have a purple scene called bedroom. We remember purple means sexy, and it happens quite later on in the novel, but it's, as I said, teenagers' hormones. It's quite important, and I think I'm going to be very much confronted with the question of how much. Like, should sex be in young adult literature? How much should be in there? Should it just be hinted at and alluded to? Did it happen? Did it not happen? Should it be a mystery? I'm not really sure. I guess I'll find out when I get to that stage. Something to worry about for the future. The thing is, it starts off, I mean, there's a bit of red here, but we're thinking, starts off quite yellow and blue. I mean, yeah, down here there's red and there's action. Oh, and that's good. We like a bit of action. But the dilemma that I'm faced with is that in the beginning, my readers, some of my novel is quite dark, and the readers that I think will enjoy the darkness, I feel like I'm going to lose them at the beginning if I keep it so like blue and yellow at the beginning. I'm slightly worried about this. So I feel like I need something to just make it a bit more red, make it a bit action at the beginning, let them see what is going to happen. This thankfully came to me in a very Stephen King kind of way, whereas a lot of things that he's written at the very beginning set the tone and mood for what might come in the form of a bullying scene, and that is exactly what's going to happen in mine, and I knew I needed that. And I didn't really know how I needed it or what I would do. I think I've ranted about this before. 4 years ago, I went to a beach in the Lake District, and there were a lot of washed up jellyfish on the beach, and I was like, ah ha 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 ha. I know exactly how this torture scene's going to play out now. It's an action scene, and it is setting the tone for what's to come. I'm thinking it could happen, like, I'm thinking that there will be a walk to the town hall afterwards, but there needs to be something in between there. So the main character's house, and then there is going to be a bit of red with the jellyfish, and then, oh, how exciting, town hall, bit of red, bit of, yellow and blue. Maybe we'll sort that out along the way because it's a bit too mellow, to be honest, for what I'm going for, especially for young adults, because there's usually a lot of action. So I'm not sure what we're going to throw in there, but laying it out in this way helps you to really insert sections that you need to. It helps you look at it in a different way. It gives you a really nice overview on what's happening, and it's a great way to work. And I love the fact that you can rearrange scenes whenever you want to like this. You can add stuff in, you can change it around. I'm always tempted at this stage when I'm happy with it to kind of sellotape it, to get it back into some kind of form and have it how it should be. But I don't think it's needed. Yeah, it's a very good way of looking at your whole story in a very lovely, condensed down, compacted way. I mean, obviously you've got the details written down in other places, but this way you're getting an overview of the world that you've created and the kind of mood that each little bit throws out. And obviously I'm glad with my red jellyfish moment at the beginning, because I needed that really shocking bit at the beginning. And then, as I say, it gets a bit more mellow, might throw something in. There's a lot of red that happens around here. I'm enjoying the red. Lots of blue and red, that's all good. And as I say, there's yellow that happens in every stage, the character development stage. There's always red. Oh no, there's always, of course there's always action, but there's always yellow that happens with the characters developmentally. You'll have sections that are like this. They've got a lot of colour in them. I mean, there's even a bit of purple here, and the next scene is all red, so, but that's quite nice. It's quite nice to have a lot happening. And it's just, as I say, you're looking at the colours. You're looking at the colours, and you kind of don't want too much action in one area, because I've got a lot of action happening over here, and I'm thinking this, all of this red, and then all of this kind of bluey yellow mellow, I'm thinking I might sort of maybe look at it and think, oh, I might be able to kind of like move something a little bit higher up, so that a little bit of red happens earlier, a little bit of action happens earlier, and it's already sort of breaking that mellow up a little bit, which is good. But obviously at the beginning, you're going to need more yellow, because we're meeting the characters. We don't know the characters at this point. We're getting to know them, and that is really important. And then obviously, as time goes on, there's going to be less and less yellow, until obviously if you throw in a new character, there's going to need to be some yellow. We need to know them, but we don't want too many characters sort of late on. We want the majority of the characters, we want to know them in the first third of the book, and then other ones just add in along the way every now and again, and we must get to know them. I've got some more blue around here. Oh, got my awkward purple bedroom moment. And then right at the end, my ending is all red. And I did think about my having kind of like a post-final scene with like a rounding up of everything that happens. And then I thought no, because the films and the books that I've read that I've enjoyed the most and that have really stuck with me, and the films that I've watched that have stuck with me, have been because the end scene has been wow, dramatic, and then that's it. You're left to fathom out what might have happened next. Your glimpse of their world, their story, that's finished for you. They're just going to carry on however you feel like they'll carry on. So I actually got rid of my sort of developmental scene at the end, because I don't want it to all be tied up in a neat bow. I want it to end in a big, powerful way. And I guess that's your option, that's up to you. But that's not something I was able to decide until I laid it all out like this and just looked at it and was like, no, I want it to end with action and adventure and a big, big finish. And that is the beauty of laying your story out in a way, in scenes, moving them around, adding new scenes in, taking some scenes away, moving them to different places in your story. And I cannot really express how much this helped me, and I really hope sharing it with you is going to help you. Please leave me some comments below and tell me what you think and if you've done this before. And enjoy your writing. Have a lovely day. Thank you for listening to me rant on, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.